Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. So my name is Billy Sherrard. I'm the Autodesk Product Manager here at Excitec. My colleague Jonathan Hand will be running this particular session. Before we get into the real meat of it, I'd like to run through a few items. Now, a bit about Excitec before we begin. Been operating in the AEC industry for over 30 years, and as well as being an Autodesk Platinum partner, we also support our customers with consultancy, training, document management solutions, IT solutions, or basically operating the whole life cycle from design through to owner-operator and building management. With that being said, I will hand over in just a second. Throughout the session, you'll probably see a number of animal images, or if you visit our website, you'll see a host of different tales from nature. This represents our brand ethos of the close symbiotic relationships we share with our customers. So without further ado, I will hand over to my colleague Jonathan.
Thank you, Billy. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to quickly run through the agenda of what I'm going to show today. Today is going to be a live webinar. I'm going to do everything from scratch, and everything will be live. So as Billy said, he's introduced a little bit about Excitec, and I'm going to introduce what I'm going to do now. What I'm going to start with today is I'm going to create a brand new project in BIM 360. And then I'm going to upload all my model data to the project in the cloud. As part of that, once everything is uploaded, I'm going to show you the model coordination features within BIM 360 Glue. And this will allow me to look at and explore clash detection and avoidance throughout the building models. As part of that, then I'm also going to explore the desktop connector feature that Autodesk has. And this allows me to connect my Windows desktop environment directly into the BIM 360 Glue platform. Once we explore all the elements of that, we will then go into a Q&A session at the end. So just a little bit about what we're doing with this BIM 360 series. So if some of you are aware, we've been running a series of webinars. A couple of weeks ago, we held a webinar on the BIM 360 Docs platform, and that webinar is available to record, so just contact us for that. We then last week, we ran a BIM 360 Design webinar where we went through to collaborate in real time. And again, that webinar is also available on recording. Today, we're looking at BIM 360 Glue. And that again will be recorded after the session and then made available to everyone. And then next month we finish the series with BIM 360 Build. So that's enough of the PowerPoint for now. I'm going to minimize the PowerPoint down and I'm going to jump straight in to the live presentation. So the first part of it is that I'm going to create a new project in BIM 360 Glue. So the first thing I do is I go to my web browser. In this case, I'm using Google Chrome, and at the top I'm going to create a new page, and I currently have a shortcut already defined to the BIM 360 Glue platform. So I click it, and like most Autodesk cloud platforms, it asks me to sign in using my Autodesk ID. So I'm simply just going to click in the middle of the screen, click sign in, and it will ask me to input my username. It has already remembered my current username, and then it will ask me to submit a password. This will allow sign me in to the admin area of the BIM 360 hub. And this is obviously the Excitec version, so as a company we've got lots of projects where we're working with clients, we're testing, we're doing internal things, so there's about 70 or 80 projects already existing within our platform. So what I'm going to do is going to create a project from scratch. So under the account admin, this is where it will default go to. I click the add project. And this will allow me to create a project profile. So first of all, I give my project a name. And for today, I've decided to call my project Project Cyclone. So this can be whatever the project name is. We then look at the project type, and there's a predefined list that comes within BIM 360 to specify the project type. And you can see as I scroll down the list, there's lots of different types. So just for this instance, I'm going to go with a residential multifamily housing. We then have a construction type where we select the drop down, and then I can choose, in this case, it's a new construction. We can specify a project value. So I'm going to say, let's say 350,000, and then I can choose the currency. Contract type, I select the drop down, and in this case I'm going to go with a designed build. We can also specify the project start date, and I'm going to click the drop down and I'm going to click today, and the end date I'm going to switch to 2019, and let's pick the 11th of September. Project number will be your project number that you are working with. So I'm going to say that this one, in this instance, is EX0067. And then I can also assign a business unit. In this case, because of the way we've structured our online portal, I can pick my professional services section. We have the ability to add a project image. So I'm going to click browse, and I've got a BIM 360 folder, and I've already downloaded a nice little image of a cyclone. We can enter a project address. You will see that some of this stuff is not starred, so it doesn't need to be filled in. So just to save time, I'm just going to specify the location to be the United Kingdom, and then I can specify the time zone as well. So I'm going to pick, once I find it, so GMT 00. We can also specify the language. And all you really do then is you click save and continue to create that project in the BIM 360 Glue platform. You'll see straight away it will tell you that the project is now saved, and you will also get a screen where we need to activate the services associated with this project. And as you all probably already know, BIM 360 comes with a series of different modules which intertwine and plug in together. The one that we're concentrating on today is BIM 360 Glue. But when I click the Activate button and I click Model Coordination, this is the area that I want to coordinate, it will ask me to give and assign a user to this project. So in my case, I just simply type my name, and it will give me a list of all the users that are part of the BIM 360 Hub, and there is myself here, and I assign myself to work for a particular company. In this case, I'm going to pick Exitech 360. So it tells me that the email address is valid, the company is valid. Now when I click save, it's going to warn me to say that the BIM 360 docs is not activated. So to use model coordination and to use the glue aspect, I need to enable the docs activation first. This will allow me to upload the model data into the system. So I can click OK to that. I can leave this currently inactive, scroll up and go to the document management module. And if I activate that first, it allows me to assign a project administrator. But first of all, I can also, if there's an existing project with a series of users and predefined folders already set, I can actually copy the settings from an existing project. And when I select the drop down, you'll see that it lists all the current projects that already exist in the Exitech Hub. In this instance, I'm going to start the project from scratch and not use any copied settings. So I'm just going to type my name again. You will see that it will run through the list of project users, and then again I assign my username and my company. And when I click save, it will go and it will activate that service as part of the BIM 360 Hub. So it will take a second or two, and now you can see that the little light goes green, and that service is now active. So if I go back to the model coordination section, I've already got the username and company, so I simply click save. And you will see that there's a little email notification has come through that I've created this project. So as part of everything that we do today, there is full notifications that come through on your email. So now I have created a project and I've immediately got an email that I'm now part of Project Cyclone and I'm the project admin. So I can create a project and assign lots of different users, and they will get notified straight away that they have been added to a project as a certain type of user. So currently I've got my document management module active, and I've got my model coordination. Now again, to add in any of the other services, you can simply click activate, you add the user that's part of that service, you assign the company, and then you click save. So each time it will activate the service, and then it will be available to use. Once you're happy with activating the services, simply click the finish button. That will then set up the project. where it will be listed along in the project directory. So if I scroll down, I can find my project Cyclone. You will see that currently it tells me that there is one member, which is myself, and one company, and the project is active. You will see that under the login date, it's blank because nobody is logged into the project. So to activate the project, I simply click Project Cyclone, and there you can see the members, which is myself, and you will see on the right, I've got a list of the services that I activated as part of that project. So I am the project admin, and I've got document management, design collaboration, and model coordination. At this stage, I can revoke and change the access to any one of these things. So you can see that I can turn the access on and off within the project admin. So now that I've got the project created, I can click the 9 little dots on the top left, which will show me the menu panel, and it will show me the list of services that I've activated. So I've now got document management, design collaboration, and model coordination. So if I click into model coordination, it will change the screen and it will go to a new part within the BIM 360 hub. So when we're looking to use BIM 360 Glue, we want to create a coordination space. So this will allow me to upload models to a certain area within BIM 360 Glue, and then I can clash check and use clash avoidance. But to do that, we must create a coordination space. So clash detection, it says, is enabled and clashes are automatically found when models are added to this space. If I click the create button, it will allow me to create a shared coordination space that different users and companies can upload their content into this folder. You can see currently could not load documents as shown. That is because I do not have a coordination space created. So I'm just going to create a very simple folder called clash checking. This again can be any particular name or a particular area that you want to coordinate and clash check. I can select a predefined folder within my project where I want to coordinate. So I select my coordination space, link it to the coordination folder, and then I simply click the create button. So this will create the space where I can run the clash checking and avoidance once I upload my models. So it does take a little bit of time just to create the space. So you can see that the cogs will run, and then it will tell me that I've created a coordination space called clash check, and it's going to run from the folder called plans, and you can see that everything is time-stamped. I even have a button to deactivate that clash space, and then I can create another one for separate different areas of clashing. So now that I've got the project created, the users added, and I've got a clash check coordination space, I can go and start to upload content to the BIM 360 Glue environment. So for that, I'm going to use Revit 2019. So I'm just going to launch that. This is the very latest. So this is Revit 2019.1. So it's the very latest version with the upgraded home space. So once it launches, I'm going to show you some functionality about the new home space, because this is incorporated to include the new BIM 360 module. So it'll take a little second just to open up Revit. So this is the latest Revit 2019.1, and you will see that on the left it already has a list of my BIM 360 projects. You will see that I've got a list of my hub, so BIM 3 Exitech 360, and then I've got a list of the projects that I'm currently part of. Now if I click into Project Cyclone, you'll see it's actually accessing BIM 360 Glue. You can see that it's accessing that hub area, and I can start to use and connect and open projects from that area. In this instance, because it's a brand new project, I'm going to upload the content manually. So I'm going to click the open button and go through normal Revit and open up a project. Now I've got a project already sitting on my desktop, what's called BIM 360, and I've got a range of different models. So I've got an architectural, mechanical, a structural. I've also got a furniture model. So I'm going to start with the architectural model. You'll see it's not a central model yet. It's just currently a standalone Revit project. So I click open, and this will open the Revit project. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload this using BIM 360 Glue into my project on the cloud. So I'll just take a second to open up my Revit project. And all of this is done by using the Collaborate tab. So when I click into Collaborate, you will see that I've got a Collaborate button. So this allows me to collaborate the project with team members using the cloud. So this will allow me to upload. But before I start to upload the project, I've got under the Manage Models panel, I've got a Publish Settings button. And this allows me to select certain instances and criteria that I can publish to the cloud. So once I click Publish Settings, you can predefine a list of sets that you can actually publish to the cloud. And when I click into each of these, you will see that it gives you a list of various different views and sheets that are part of the project. And what you can do is you can create your own sets and then tick the boxes of what you want to upload as part of that set. So if we tick these off, where the include is off, and I look at set 1, which is the 3D views, and you can see that the current view that's only included as part of that set is the default 3D view from the project. And what I can do is I can set different areas that I can upload to it. So in this instance, I'm going to start, and I'm just going to include set number 1. So it's just going to be the native 3D model, and I can click Save and Close. That will allow me to save them settings, so once I coordinate this in the cloud, it will only publish that particular set. So with the Publish Settings confirmed for the project, I can click the Collaborate button. This will prompt me to save the model and continue, because I'm going to effect a change to the project. So I click Save the Model and Continue, and it will then open up the dialog box where I can collaborate. So it gives me two options. I can collaborate locally within a local LAN or a WAN, but what I want to do is, because I've activated the BIM 360 document management module, it now gives me an option to collaborate this project in the cloud. So once I click OK, it will open Collaborate using the cloud. It will show me the current Revit project, and then I can specify the project location. So you can see that it's using the BIM 360 service, and then I've got access to my Exitech 360 hub. So I double click into my hub, and then it lists my project. So I'm going to click Cyclone 2, and I want to upload it to the plans folder, and then I can click Initiate. So once I click Initiate, this will read my publish settings and upload this project to the cloud. So you can see that this is all live, so it's going to take a few minutes given the size of the project. So it's going to upload the work sharing and the default work sets. It's then uploading the model to the cloud. So it's slowly getting there and improving. You will see that I've now got an email notification that the project has finished publishing, even though it's not quite finished on my screen. It has notified BIM 360, and that has then sent down an email notification to say that it has finished publishing. You'll see that the project is Project Cyclone 2, and it's published one model file. So then I've successfully initiated the collaboration for the model, and I can click Close. Now what will happen back in BIM 360, if I click my hub, I can go to Document Management, and that project will start to appear. Now it will take a minute or two to upload through the cloud to start to appear in my list. You'll see that currently the plans folder is empty, but within a minute or two that will then populate with that project that I've uploaded. So while I'm waiting for that to happen, I'm going to open the structural project, and I'm going to repeat the process where I'm going to glue this up into the cloud. So again, I follow the same processes where I click Collaborate, check my publish settings to ensure that the sets that I want to include or not include are correct. In this case, I'm just going to go with set 1, structure 3D view, which only includes the 3D model. At this stage, I'm not including any sheets, so just confirm, save and close. Then I click collaborate, BIM 360 document management, select my hub, and then click the project, click my plans folder, and then initiate that into the cloud. And it will repeat the same process where it will upload this project to the same location into my coordination folder. So as part of today, I'm going to upload 4 separate models. So I'm going to repeat this process 2 more times to allow us to coordinate and check 4 models against each other. So this can be done, obviously I'm just doing it as one person, but this could be 4 different disciplines, 4 different companies. It could be 20 different companies all uploading simultaneously different projects to the same coordination space. And if I just click back into the cloud, and if I refresh the page, we'll see has my original architectural model uploaded. Again, I'm getting an email notification to say that a document has been added, and you can see that the architectural model is added to the document management area. And again, what will happen shortly is the structural model will also go. So I'm just going to open up the mechanical model and repeat the same process and let all this coordinate into the cloud together. So again, collaborate, publish settings, just to check that the 3D model, I'm not including my electrical sheets. In this instance, collaborate, in document management, select my hub, my project, and then my coordination space, and then initiate that collaboration. So obviously the smaller the models, the quicker it will be. So obviously this is a little bit of a lighter Revit model, so it's a little bit quicker to upload. And just to double check my emails, you will see that each time I'm getting an email notification to say that something has been published and something is changed within my project environment. So this model looks as if it's nearly completely uploaded, and then I'm going to upload the final model into that coordination space, and then we can explore the fun bits of the new BIM 360 functionality where we can compare and clash check the model data. So just let this run through for a little second. Again, I've got my email notification to say that it is published, so it shouldn't be long before I get this done. So you see it will just flicker for a slight second, and then it will confirm that everything has correctly uploaded. So I've finished. There's my model. So each time I'm getting my email notification. So that is now successfully coordinated, and I'm just going to do one more project, and hopefully this doesn't take a huge amount of time. So again, I could collaborate, publish settings. You can see that I can select 3D views in the model, this type, include, and then save. And then I can collaborate into my hub, into my project, and into my plans folder, and then I initiate this upload. So this is the final one, so hopefully not too much more time until we can get into the nitty-gritty of the model coordination. So while that's uploading, I'm going to jump straight in and let that upload in the background. So I'm going to jump straight in back to BIM 360. And what we're going to look at is we're going to look at the model coordination side of things. So when I click into model coordination, because I've uploaded my projects, they will now become available to select and view within my BIM 360. So you'll see you've got two tabs at the top. One is for models and one is for clashes. So just to show you some of the functionality of just BIM 360 glue, I can select a particular model. So in this instance, I can simply click the architectural model, and that will allow me to view that model within the BIM 360 platform. So it'll take a little second. You'll see that the model has now loaded from my Revit environment, and I'm now straight into my BIM 360 environment. So this may be familiar to lots of people used to Autodesk technology, where we've got our standard view cube up the top right, and that allows me to use the view cube to control and orbit the model. And just to look at some of the tools that BIM 360 Glue gives you, you can see that we've got the navigation panel at the bottom of the screen. You'll see that as I move my mouse, objects start to get highlighted, and I've got a little orbit symbol or rotate symbol as a cursor. And if I left click my mouse, I can simply orbit the model, and if I use the wheel on my mouse, I can zoom in and out. So you've got this within every model that you upload, so you can get right in around the model. You can see, you can zoom in, and you can fully orbit. You also have what we call a first person mode within it, and when you click it, you get a little instruction screen of how you can actually navigate in first person. You can see you can use arrow keys, you can use up and down, and then you can actually teleport around the model. And you've got a little button at the bottom where don't remind me again. I click OK, and you can see that I can start to use the arrow keys just in first person mode, just to go down, and you'll see I'm now down on the ground, and you can use your keys to go up and down. You could double click the mouse to teleport around the model, so I can walk about just using the arrow keys. And I can see I can walk straight in, aim for this door hopefully, and then I can get straight inside the building. It takes a little bit of practice with the keyboard. It's like playing a little game, so you can actually go in and see, and you can see I'm still getting the email notifications that projects are uploading. So that is the first. You can click out of the first person mode, and up in the top right you can click the home button to go back. You also have orbit modes where you can orbit the model around an orbit point. We've got a pan mode where we can pan and view the model. We've got a fit to view, which will actually zoom out like a zoom extent. And one that I use quite a lot is the zoom tools, where I can actually zoom on a window. So if I'm orbiting around a particular area and I want to zoom in really quickly, I just use the zoom tool. Let me have a quick look at that area there, and I'm straight in. And then if I come out of my zoom window mode, I can go back into my standard orbit mode. There's also a lovely tool called section analysis, and this will allow me to create sections and cut the model. So if you select it, you've got sections on the X, Y and the Z plane. So if we put the X plane on, you will see that you get a little icon here where you can actually use the arrows to drag, and you'll see as you drag it's cutting a section through, and you can actually use the little widget to orbit the actual section in the X direction, and again you can then orbit it. So if you've got a section in the X, you can go to let's section it in the Y, and again the same functionality where you can actually pull sections through the model, and again the same in the Z, where you can see if I use the little arrow to pull that up, you will find that I can just completely cut off the top and then go in and then explore the model that way. So it's really quick, really fluid way to explore in around the model. And then I can add a box in, where this allows me to add a box to the model, where you can see I can limit. So this is sort of similar to the section box control that we would have within a Revit view, so I can coordinate and just use it on certain different areas. So if I take that off again and we have a look, so that's the basic tools. If we look at the measure tool, I can use that on any of the models that I've done. So if I open, let's say, my structural model, So you've got all the same controls just in the model viewer, and if we look in at a particular area, let's say I want to measure the distance between the columns, I can click the measure tool and I could start to actually pick points. And you see it will start to snap to the objects. You can see there it tells me that the distance is 2.5 meters, and then I've also got an X and a Y triangulated position. I can do angles, and you can actually save them and delete them. So it's really quick. Just run it a dimension and tells me that's the size of it. So you can do that within any view. So if we go back to our architectural model, we also have a thing called a model browser, where it actually splits the project into the categories that are defined within Revit. So you can see I've got a little eye, and if I turn that off, it actually turns off that particular physical element within the model. And you can drill down into the walls, and then you can get a list of all the basic walls, and you've got each of the individual components. So it's a really handy feature to drill into the model, find whatever you want. You also have the properties, so if I select a particular element, BIM 360 will also give me a full list of all the individual properties that's taken from the Revit model. So we've got all the identity data, the construction data, and all the constraint data. So that's just the model viewer aspect of it. Where the real cool stuff is when we start looking at the clash folder. So if I click into clash, you will see that it shows me a matrix automatically of the models that I've uploaded, and it will list them on the left, and then it will list them on the top, and it will give a matrix with a number within that. Now what it's showing here is the number of clashes that it's actually found. So it's actually doing a real-time clash detection of your uploaded models. What we can do is we can start to filter and what we can actually clash against. So if I just turn off, let's say, the new construction aspect and just apply it on basically the core architectural and the core structure, it will rebuild the matrix, and it now tells me that I've got 285 clashes in this group. And what I can do is I can click in to this matrix, and it will open up a new web page and load the model. You'll see that it's loaded the two models together. So I've got my architectural and my structural, and on the left you will have a full list of all the clashes that it's finding. And if we start to drill down, you'll see that I've got 285, and what we can do is we can drill down into a particular area. So let's have a look at this steel beam. We can expand it, and you will see that if I click it, it's telling me straight away and highlighting in the model where this potential clash is. So you can see that green will be the single model, so that's the architectural, and the red bit will be the clash where that steel beam is clashing. You can see straight away there, once I orbit round, I've obviously got a clash in this area, and I can click each individual aspect, and as I click each one, it moves and reorientates the model to show exactly where that is clashing. So it's real time. As soon as I upload the model, BIM 360 Glue will automatically run these coordination checks. So you can see straight away from any discipline. There we go. So this is similar-ish to what happens in a Navisworks environment, where it does a red and a green color scheme to show. And if I come out, we can explore down. Let's look at the walls, and you'll see it's finding a clash between the slab on the foundation and the original slab in the architectural model. So you can drill down, find all your clashes. If we come out of the clash check mode, we can go back, we can load in different models again, and again it will start to run. And let's run a clash check against the structure in here, and you see again you get your standard BIM 360 viewing tools, but now we're having all the clashes. So if I look at the floor, 61 clashes, find that particular area, you can see straight away it's finding that the steel column is going through the floor slab. So really quick, easy way to find everything, speed up the coordination. So to simply upload the project within the BIM 360. Once we have the model coordination space created, this clash matrix is automatically done. And if you can imagine, you maybe have 20, 30 different disciplines, different projects, different models coming in. BIM 360 Glue will automatically start to clash that data. So you can see now I've got my furniture loaded, so I'm now getting, if we find the 4 clashes between these 2 projects. So I've got the desk clashing there, so you can see, even though it's the smallest little of clashes, the coordination space has found it. So what we can now do is, if we start making changes to the Revit project, so I'm going to go back into my Revit environment, and just for ease of use, I'm just going to close down the structural, mechanical and the furniture module. I'm just going to concentrate on the architectural one, and I'm going to click into my floor plan, and let's say click in to the ground floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some windows to the rear of the building. So I'm going to click architecture and click window, choose a particular size, and I'm just going to add that window into that position, and then again the same there and there. So I've actually made some changes to the project. What we can now do is, if we go to collaborate, again I can double check my publish settings to see, is that what I want to update and publish, which it is. And because this is already a cloud coordinated model, you'll see that I don't have the collaborate button anymore. What I have is the ability to synchronize these changes back to BIM 360. So if I click synchronize now, the reason I click with settings is that I can actually compact it, which will be a little bit of a slower upload, but it will try to reduce the file size, and you can actually add comments in, and this will allow you to see this within BIM 360. So when the uploaded file comes through, you can add comments to track. So I'm just going to say Windows added to ground floor, click OK, and again it's sort of repeating the process with the original collaboration. So it's uploading this change to the cloud. Now what's happened is, the original project that I uploaded is what we call version 1, and I've made a change and I've collaborated this back to the cloud. So if we go back and look at our BIM 360, and if we look at the models and we change it into the document management module, you'll see it will list the documents and they will all have a version number. You will see that all the original projects are all on version 1. Now what I've done is I've made a change to the architectural model, and what we can do is we can choose when we publish this to BIM 360. So I've synchronized it in the cloud, but we've not yet published it. So what I can do is I can click manage cloud models, and this will list the projects that I'm involved in. And if I click project Cyclone, you will see that I've got a list of the projects. So this is my architectural. You've got 2 little buttons here, and this is a little button that says publish latest, and you'll see to the right of that I've got a little actions button. If I select the actions button, you'll see that I've got a section that says view versions, and I've now got 2 versions of this project. So I've got one which is the original, which is timestamped 11/26, and then I've got version 2 which is timestamped 1 minute ago. And what I can do is I can choose to publish this change. So I select this drop down and it can say published latest. So when I click that, it says you're about to publish this latest version to the project. Are you sure you want to do that? And then you click cancel if you're not, and if we are sure, we click publish. You'll see that you get a little warning at the top. You can actually close this window, so it's actually publishing that latest version up to my project in the background. You'll see that the message goes away. You see that the little icon is changing because it's actually working and publishing that change up into the cloud. Now it will take a second or two because it's taking the project and uploading it, and then it will need to calibrate it in BIM 360. So what we would expect to see here shortly is that this version number will change to version 2. So then I will have a project in my BIM 360 space that I will have both versions that I can run clashes against, I can compare against. So you can completely do lots of different versions. So it will just take a second or two to done. So you can see that the latest version of the model has been published. And you can actually, to access all your files, you can actually click the link within the cloud model. And that will take me to the same BIM 360 glue area where the documents are stored. And it may take a second or two to actually update. You'll see that the change has not come through yet, but we will just sit and we will refresh it. It will come through in the next couple of minutes that we will then have 2 versions of this model. It's not quite there yet. It does take a little bit of time because there's a lot going on in the background where it needs to track all the changes. So we'll just refresh that. So while that's working in the background, I'm going to show you some of the functionality that I mentioned at the very start. Was when we launch Revit. So if I close my Manage Cloud Model, and if I close down ground floor, and I actually close this project, and I go back to my start screen within Revit. So you'll see at the very start I mentioned that I also got access on my home screen to the BIM 360 hub. And in here, once I've got cloud collaborated projects, I can click into my project, I can click plans, and I can access directly the projects that I've uploaded. So if I want to open up that cloud project in Revit, I simply select the hub area rather than opening the models, and then I can simply open up that model. You'll see that it's open up the model, so it's actually opening it up direct in Revit, but from the BIM 360 platform. So once the models are glued up, we've got full access. You'll see that it is a central model where I can again make changes and do stuff. So what I'm going to do on this instance is I'm going to make another change to, let's say, put in or delete some doors. So I'm just going to take out that door, that one, and that one, and I'm just going to do something a bit foolish and put some windows in that area. So again, I'm going to make and synchronize a change to this project. So I'm going to go synchronize with central, modify the settings, and I'm just going to say doors removed, and I'm going to click OK. Now that is making a 3rd version of this project. And again, once it uploads, I'm then going to go through and manage the cloud model, and in the background it's already uploading version 2, but then I'm going to upload also version 3. So I go to manage cloud models, select my project. You can see in the drop down, if I view the versions, I've now got 3, and now I can just go and publish that up to the cloud. So version 2 is uploading, and now version 3 is now being sent up. So we let that run. So that is how we can access the projects direct within Revit. Now there is another thing that Autodesk have developed, and it's a thing called Desktop Connector. What Desktop Connector does, it's a little application you can install that allows you to connect your Windows environment direct to BIM 360. So there is other things like this where we can connect various cloud storage projects to your Windows platform. So if we look at my Windows Explorer, you'll see that under my computer I've got lots of drives which I'm connected to here at Excitech, but I also have areas that I'm connected to using BIM 360. So if we look at this BIM 360 tool, so once I install this little program called Desktop Connector, it automatically syncs and connects my network drive with my cloud collaboration. So you can see as soon as I click BIM 360, it shows me my Excitech hub. When I click into that, you will then see it lists all the projects. So you can click each one, or you can actually just use the little arrows and extend. And if I click into Project Cyclone, you will see that it has the project files folder that's part of my document management. So if I click into project files, so utilizing standard BIM 360, I can upload files manually through the web browser. So I can click upload, find a file and upload it that way. But the desktop connector allows me just to do it back within my Windows environment. So if I find my desktop folder, I've got some files already existing, and I've got some steel details that are printed from a product called Advanced Steel, and these are just PDF drawings of just some steel work. And using desktop connector, it will allow me to simply just select these, copy, find my project file folder, and I can just go Control V and I can paste them files direct using that. And you can see what happens is I get a little transferring file button and a little display comes up because it's actually transferring the files from my native desktop environment straight away onto the BIM 360 platform. So you can see that they've already synced across. If we now go to our background, it may take a second or two from everything to upload through the manual Windows folder. And if we just go back and reset document management, we should start to see them files starting to upload into it. So if I click into project files, I'm hoping you already start to see the way it's syncing and there's little circles running around like a little timer. These documents straight away within a matter of seconds, because I just copied and pasted from two Windows folders, but using my desktop connector I can really quickly start to drag and drop all folders and control access to the project. That way once they upload, you can see you click into it and then you can actually view that document. You see it opens up in a new page and we can do all that. If we go back and start looking at the plan, so that is a little bit of how the connector is starting to work. If we now look at, remember when I was uploading my changed versions, you'll now see that the version for the architecture model is now version 3. And if we look at the model coordination side of it, when we start looking at this project, I will now have 3 versions of it. So if I click in to the architectural model, you will see that version 3 now includes the new windows that I've added. If I went in and section tooled it, I would also be able to see inside. So we can click in and we can view the latest model through model coordination. But if we go back and look at the document management, and we actually click the model from within here, so we click version 3 and we can view it within the viewer within BIM 360. You will see on the left I get a history button, and this now shows me 3 versions that I've uploaded, and I can switch. If I want to go back to version 1, you'll see that it's saved within the project, and you'll see that this version doesn't have any windows. If we click version 2, you will now see. So all the changes and tracking and versions that we do from within Revit, as soon as we upload and publish that version, BIM 360 Glue can see it and has a full history. So you can see, I can see all these things in here. And within this, this is where I can create all my standard markups. So if I click into here, so I'm going to click into version 3, which is my current and latest file. I can orbit this round, have a look, see something that is not quite the way that I want it to be. Go to the markup section, and then I can create a markup. So in here, when I create a markup, it changes the tool set at the bottom of the page. So this is where I can go in and create. So I can set the color of the markup, let's say the thickness as well. And I can use a range of different tools. So in this case I'm going to go with a rectangle, and I'm simply just going to put an area around there, and then I've got a text tool, pick a point, and I can just type the markup or the red lining of what I'm doing. And then I can simply click done, and that will save that markup into the project. So you can see that when I come back out of that version, if I close it down, go back into it, you'll see that the markup is saved and the view. So you can start to go in, mark up all the different versions just by using the history, open up the different projects, and you'll see when you go into a version that's not the latest, you'll see you get a little warning that will tell you straight away that you're not viewing the latest version. We're actually viewing an older version, and that's why we have the little current badge. And do that. If we come back out of there, you will then see, if we go back to our desktop environment, you will see that we have our access to all our files. So as part of the desktop connector, you will see that it is available as one of your running programs, and if you right click it, you can actually sign out, work offline. You can actually see if there's any current pending actions, if there is things that are happening. If you're uploading, let's say 200-300 documents, they will start to show here. And you can also go into it and refresh it, so it actually refreshes and rehashes the syncing. You can see no drives are added or removed, so it's a really cool tool, really quickly access and upload documents rather than manually dragging and dropping through the web browser. I tend to use my desktop connector. So that sort of brings me sort of full circle round to finishing what I sort of wanted to show you. So it's just been a way to utilize some of the newer technology that's there using, and especially this model coordination area, where as I upload models, it's doing the clash detection and avoidance for me. As soon as I upload the model, it will run the matrix automatically. Now, it does take a period of time just to sync all the models into it, but you will see that straight away I've got 6 models and it's showing me all the various different clashes. So I'm just going to quickly switch back to the PowerPoint just to finish up and sort of go back to it. So I'm going to continue from where I currently was. So this is part of our webinar series where we're running docs design. That today has been blue. So we are running the build. So if you've been part of the previous webinars or want to check out the next one, remember that it is on the 16th of October at 10 AM. So basically what I've sort of went through today is the model coordination side of it. So how we can upload models, how we can round trip it. We've seen the versions, and how we can just review really quickly the coordination with all the different project types. So I'm hoping that it's been a good insight into it. As I said, it would be great if you could all join us. Our head of construction, Steve Rudge, is going to take you through some of the really cool stuff that he's involved in on site with the project and field management. Lots of cool technology involving iPads and scanning and barcodes and asset tagging. So it would be great if you could access that. So with that in mind, I'm just going to say thank you once again and just end the webinar for today. So thank you very much.